Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to No BS Ted. We actually got the overlay working now, along with the wallpaper and the TTG logo in the upper corner. We're looking professional and smooth. Thank you to my buddy and esteemed colleague, Ryan from No Border Sports. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Victory Tuesday.
Victory Tuesday. Feels good.
All I
It
gotta
was
say is it don't have to just be for a Monday. We're 4-0 right now. Not to say that, I'm feeling myself a little too much, but we're doing great for the start of the season. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming up, which to me, that's just the epitome of the season is we get to go against the Dallas Cowboys officially at least once in the regular season this year. We might meet them again in the playoffs. Hopefully.
Yeah, I picked us to play them in the NFC Championship before the season
Just
started,
just want to
and
get at it again. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
one of them it's almost like one of them girls that you like kicking it with a little too much, you know what I'm saying? And every time she comes around, like that's all you can think about. And that's kind of I like taking the Dallas Cowboys souls at the end of the game. And I hope that we get some opportunity to do that in this game.
nice. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm fired up. Yeah, there's so much to unpack, and yeah, it feels like the season's really starting this week. Um, because I've been saying on the timeline, basically, like I'm so happy to be 4-0. I'm so glad that we're averaging over 30 points a game. All that is it's so nice. It's great, but like there's a but, and the but is we haven't played a contender yet, and we may not even have played a playoff team yet. So,
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
2-2 probably gets you into the playoffs for the Steelers and the Rams, but will they maintain that for the season? I have my doubts. I thought the Rams would be more like running back what they did last year, 5-12. And the Steelers, their offense just seems so anemic, and their defense just doesn't
Oh
seem as good
man.
as a lot of people tried to make it sound when they shut down Jimmy G, which is like no great feat. Come on.
It's hard though when you're always on the field. As a defense, it's
Yes,
hard to be as good as you can be when you're tired. So
yes, we
I
know that
understand what's
all
going
too
on there.
well here. We've seen our defense wilt when it's been left on the field
Yep.
too long. As outstanding as our defense has been, happened in the Super Bowl, happened against the Rams in the NFC
Happens
Championship
against the
game. It's
Eagles.
happened
Yep.
against the Eagles. Exactly. We were playing them pretty tough, even with really no threat of a quarterback.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. Let's say hello to our friends in the chat. We've got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the house.
What
What's
up,
up,
Daniel
Daniel
Berry?
Berry? Thanks for joining. Got Jimmy Perez in the house. He's saying, "What's
What
up,
up,
Ted?"
Jimmy?
We got James Durnall coming to us from across the pond. What's
That's
up,
my
James?
man, James.
Yeah, you said he hopped on with you on the live stream. Is that right?
Ooh, I was sick, man. I was sick as shit. I ended up talking to my daughter for an hour. He just sat there and kicked it with me for the whole time. I really appreciate that.
Which game were you live streaming? Was it? It wasn't ours, right?
Oh, it
No.
was I did the Seahawks game and then the Sunday game 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember what it was.
Okay.
I couldn't
Don't
even
worry about
remember
it.
what
It's
we were
fine.
talking about.
That's right. You
That
were sick, so that makes sense. Well, let's finish this up. But remind me about live streams because I have a funny one for you. I don't know if you saw,
oh,
um, but we'll get to that in a second here. Jimmy Perez says, "What's up, Brian?" Uh, who's Brian?
who's Brian?
I think he means Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's Ryan. You can see it up there, Ryan from No Border Sports.
Jimmy,
That's why we got all the names on there.
Brian's are just trying to be Ryan.
That's right. They're they're just adding clutter to a beautiful name.
That's exactly it.
Plus, they have that I and not a Y. I mean, that's I's are so
It's,
boring.
it's a little
Y's
much.
are they go below the line. Like, come on, pause. There's something good about that, right? Alberto Soto in the house. What's up, Alberto? Thanks for joining. He says, "What up, players?"
What up,
Not a lot.
Alberto?
better now that you're here. Thanks for joining. We got Anshul of the Shaw Show. Hey,
What
Ryan
up,
and Ted.
Anshul?
What's up, Anshul? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you check out Anshul. You can tell the show. He has a YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. Give him a like and subscribe, everybody. He does great work. Great guy. And he also does some of like the updates for the team, as news breaks. So you follow him on Twitter as well, too. Shaw Show, Twitter and YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe, all that. Jason Niner Smash Massey in the house says Talofa Faithful. He always opens with that greeting. Jason has his own channel too, so make sure you check out Jason
Niner
and
Faithful Radio.
Niner Faithful Radio. There you go, exactly. And then we got Shasha's just saying hi. Oh, so I'm going to try and show all the chats because we are broadcasting to two different channels. So I want everybody, no one to feel like they're missing out or y'all have to go to one channel or the other to watch, because that hurts us if you do that. You can switch back and forth is fine. The main thing though is if you have a browser, just open up two tabs, mute one, watch us both at the same time. It really helps us out a lot. So,
Really
or
does.
if you're on a phone, you could whip out your tablet, watch on there, go two devices. Really helps us. So thanks in advance for that. But let's get through. So I may not read every chat, but you should be able to at least see it briefly, as we go through. They're saying, how's it, brada? James says, I don't care if the Cards D was cheeks. It was a little wake-up call for me that Purdy is awesome. I don't want to hear anything else about his limitations. I'll eat my words. Purdy is not mid. So yeah, I've been updating that Purdy is mid. I don't know if you've been keeping up. Maybe you don't follow me on Twitter, James, but or haven't seen my shows recently. I don't know. But after the Giants game, I said 11 to 15. Before mid, when I said mid, I meant 14 to 18, with 16 being in the middle of those two. And then after the Giants, I said 11 to 15. And then after this Cards game, I've been saying 8 to 12. So definitely not mid anymore. Probably top 10 or real close to it is what I've been saying. So, the Cards D is cheeks though, man. Like, name me a D lineman on the Cards. I mean, name me a linebacker that isn't the one that picked off Dak because you're white or because you're Elam or whatever his name is. Name me a DB not named Buda Baker, and Buda didn't play. So they have a nice rookie corner, but come on, Purdy looked great, but there was not a lot of pressure. Let's be honest, especially on the nice throws. He had a nice clean pocket.
He also was pushing the ball down the field.
He did. He had a 42-yard throw to Ayuk and a 34-yard throw to Ayuk, and then the nice back shoulder throw to Ayuk, and then the nice out to the right to Ayuk. There was a lot of nice throws and a lot of air yards, not a ton of yak, not like the Giants game where it was like 95, air yards and then 200 plus yak yards. Debo was playing hurt, and Kittle only had one catch. So our two biggest yak catchers, weren't a factor in that game.
Yeah. No, and I almost don't care if he connects down the field as long as there's not an interception. Like, I'm not mad if he has to throw it out of bounds. You know what I mean? Because the shot is all that I really care about. Like, believe me, I would love for it to be complete every time. I just know that it's not going to. But I love the attempt going downfield, because it's like you can't just rest on your laurels around here and just wait for the ball to come up the gut, or wait for us to run the ball at you. You're going to have to be also ready to go deep at a moment's notice, and that to me is what keeps our run game going. And as nasty as it is, because everybody has to respect all spots of the field at any point in time, because Kyle is lulling you to sleep to expose one of them. You know what I mean?
There you go. No, it's true. Well, that's why when I don't know, when people were getting on the Cowboys for losing to the Cards, and I threw out that Diggs was missing, Like, well, he doesn't stop the run. It's like, well, he stops the pass, and when you can't pass, it's a lot harder to run, as we learned against the Eagles.
Yeah.
So it all goes together on defense. Great corner helps so much. And people say, well, how much can one corner difference make, on a team? I'm like, well, look at the Niners in 93. Look at the Niners in 94 when we had a Deion Sanders. He's the biggest reason we won that ring. Biggest single reason, not the biggest
If you
reason.
can lock down a whole side because you have one player, that's something.
You can focus all your defenders on the other side.
On the
Exactly.
other side.
Alberto
It's
wants
just
to know the difference between Niners and Dallas. We'll definitely get to that, Alberto. Real quick, just want to call out Laura Cat in the house too. She's saying Ryan and Daddy. I mean Ted. Just kidding. Just being silly. That's cute. Yeah, no, I am a daddy. I just, my second son was born 2 weeks and a day ago. So 15 days ago.
yeah,
And
Laura, I'm a daddy too.
there you go.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I
we're both daddies.
got my tattoo of my daughter right there.
There you go. And Ryan's daughter is much older than my kids. My oldest son isn't even 4 yet. The other one isn't even 3 weeks old yet.
My daughter got her first report card.
Oh, and
Well, let's say she got 2 satisfactories.
okay.
One is in PE because all kids get a satisfactory in PE, which I know she would get like 100% because she has got energy, dog. And like everything else was outstanding except for what was it? Citizenship, which was satisfactory. Means she talks to people a lot. Which
Yeah.
I'm like,
She's social. That's
I'm
good.
I'm like, okay, I get it. And I was telling her mom, I was like, mine would have been a whole bunch of ends. Needs improvement. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of ends. The
There you
one thing
go.
I would
Well,
have
these
probably
things
gotten out.
happen.
Yeah. So I'm all excited.
Nice. That's good. James says, me and Ryan got introduced to all the face new toys last week. That girl is full of energy. I don't understand.
My
Fill me
daughter's
in.
name is Faith.
Oh.
So she was showing me all the toys.
Ah.
It's a normal thing. She's gotta let you know about this toy. Sometimes she gets a new toy from her mom's work, and so she'll have to let you know its name, it's kind of its backstory, because some of them have like backstories you need to know. Like some of them are sick. You understand? Some of them are hurt. You know what I mean? Like they've got backstories. So you have to understand what the backstory is. And then like she will put that toy down and you will never see that toy ever again. And then she'll be like, now I'm coloring. It's like, okay. Now we're coloring.
Nice. What does this mean? Rhino and Ted, you're looking AWFY bra. Off we
Oh,
bra. I think it's an acronym.
yeah.
Uh, fill us in, Randy. Spell it out for us. We're lost. They're just saying hi. James says Ted, pretty look great, but
All
when
I
are you
could
gonna
see was pretty fly for a white
give
guy,
him some
but
flowers?
those letters don't even work.
So I mean, I gave Purdy flowers. I said he was very very good against the Cards. Um, I would say great if it was a little bit better D. If there weren't so, I mean, like put it this way: when you throw 20 of 21 and you end up with a 134 passer rating, it means a lot of those throws were really easy because, um, normally 95% completion rate with a TD, you'd probably, and no interceptions, you'd probably be like, I would have thought you'd be at like 158.6 or 158.3, whatever the max passer rating is. So, there's not much. I mean, I don't know. Did you watch JT O'Sullivan's breakdown of Purdy's week 4?
I have not yet. No.
Okay. Well, he kind of was saying what some people in the broadcast were saying about that big 42-yard throw to Ayuk, that it wasn't a great throw. The DB was lost, and if the DB knew what the hell he was doing, he would catch it like a punt. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was a great game, one of Purdy's best. Amazing that he broke Steve Young's completion record. I'm super happy with him. Like I said, I moved him up to 8 to 12. So when I'm going to give him his flowers, I don't know. I mean, if he looks really good against Dallas this week, I mean, they have a really, really good defense. They may have the best defensive line in football, and or at least the best pass rush if you count Micah as a outside linebacker. But they've upgraded their D line since we last saw them. I guess this goes to what Alberto was saying: is what's the difference between Dallas and the Niners? And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see it versus better teams. And honestly, like versus the Giants, there was like, Debo and Kittle were playing defensive back to avoid a couple interceptions. There were at least 3 to 4 dangerous throws to Debo, besides the one that he played DB on.
Well,
Um,
but he
so
was going through something that not many people
I get it. There are a lot
experience.
of blitzes, but blitzes also open up hot routes. So it's basically like you look where the
Right.
blitz came from and throw it right back over the dude, and that
But
guy's
you
probably
might not
open.
necessarily know where the blitz is coming from sometimes when you didn't like sometimes you get keys that they're going to blitz, right? So you can
Right.
start making your diagnostics you can start dissecting it right then and there, figuring out, okay, well, if he's coming, then that means he's probably supposed to be covering him, so that's the hot route, right? But if you don't know that where the pressure's coming from, all you know is there's pressure, then you now have a little tougher of decision to make, and you might not always be making the right decision, even if what you're seeing you think is clear. It might not. The guy you're judging might be the other guy who's essentially going to impact the play. You know what I mean? Like it's. I just feel that the Giants game, you could tell that there was something going on even before I realized they were just blitzing the shit out of him the whole time. Like, I could tell Purdy looked different, but that doesn't mean that it's not because of what was going on there. We haven't seen him in that situation like that at all since or before. You know what I mean? It's I don't think we're going to see it a lot because it gives him opportunities. And if everybody saw what happened there, it's not like they got so much in turn for blitzing all the time.
This, yeah, no, I mean, look, he had a good game against the Giants. I'm just saying there were things that I wasn't loving. I didn't love there were no touchdowns thrown against the Rams. Obviously, I really love the Pittsburgh game. There's a lot to like. I just, like I said, none of
Well,
these defenses
can you
are
really
are.
get mad at him for no touchdown thrown against the Rams? Like,
I mean, technically there was one that he threw. It just was not forward, and so it counted as a run because
right.
Debo could have turned around and thrown it himself. And technically, the one to Ayuk or CMC this week too, in the right flat was the same thing. That's what JT O'Sullivan was saying. Basically, like,
It's like I lost money on that and I wasn't even mad at him because the way I see it, like if you're running the ball from like 20 yards out and you score a touchdown, it's not Brock Purdy's fault. You're running the ball to get closer so you could do a nice red zone play, you know what I mean? That kind of it's there's that certain area where it's a little too far out and it's kind of nice to be, on the 10-yard line because it kind of opens up kind of more plays because a lot of routes can get close to the end zone and you could make a play on the goal line. Um, I just, you can't, how can you hold that against them, when people are scoring from like 15, 20 yards out
um,
and
it was
somebody else
just
is
the way I
calling the
felt during
plays?
the game, Ryan.
Okay.
I was not happy for the first half of the game. The second half of the game, I was. Um, but ultimately, I feel like we're leaving a lot out there, and against bad opponents, it's not hurting us, but against better opponents, I think it could, and that's my concern. I hope I'm wrong, or I hope it gets corrected by then. So it sounds like that Offie bra. It sounds like from what James was saying, it's a good thing in Scottish. Randy Daytona said he thought it was like a nice lad or a lovely lass. Told me it was looking lovely, but then James said in England it's the opposite. It means I won't read it. He said Means you're a meaty.
Oh, a meaty testicle.
Anyway, shots popping. We got Bryant Culp in the house. We got Randy
Hey,
Daytona in the
James,
house.
what's the
Um,
what's the term for like a polished
Shifty's
tit?
49ers talk. Check out his channel, everybody.
A polished tit, or like a boob, like somebody who's all dressed up, but they're just like they shouldn't even be wearing the clothes that they are. They're almost like a scam. Uh,
No, I know what you're saying.
yeah,
Like all show and no go type of thing.
kind of. You know what I mean? Like they got this, they bought the suit, but they don't need it for anything except for
Right.
making people think that they deserve to be in a suit some reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I hear you. I hear you. Carcast 49ers in the house. Check out his channel, everybody. Like and subscribe.
What up, Carcast?
Um, Randy. So, real quick, Randy on Monday came up with. So, I do this show on Mondays with Pedro, Pete Burge from Australia, and and I was
Sounds
and
like
I
a
was thinking about
gobshite.
some riffs on Napoleon Dynamite, and
I've
and
never
Randy
seen that
came up.
movie.
You haven't seen it? Gosh, then you're not going to get it. But the name of our show is going to be Ivo hyphen Ted for Pedro, because there was like this character named Pedro.
Oh,
He
for
runs for
Pedro.
vote for. I'm sure you've heard it. Yeah, it was a cult classic thing. So that's going to be the name of our show, Ivo hyphen Ted for Pedro. And Randy came up with it. So yeah, thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. Um, what else? Also, when we talked about live streaming, I was going to mention to you that I hopped on with Beto in the first half of the game, and then at halftime, the baby woke up, and my wife was like, and I was like, okay, honey. And so I got off, and then we started to scuffle, and then I was like, hey, Beto, I think I better come back on. Well, actually, even before I went on, I was like, I don't know if I want to come on. I don't want to jinx things because we were playing well, I'm like, I don't want to come on the show. And now, I don't know if you're superstitious like that, but I am like crazy superstitious like that.
I used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
Like
So you understand at
sometimes
least the
oh,
neurosis of
it was bad when like we would
jinx.
lose all the time when I'd watch, and then like halftime would happen, I'd go find something else happen, and I'd check back and were winning. And then I like gotta click off of it. I can't watch this. You know what I mean? We're gonna lose if I watch. That sucked. But now yeah, I don't really. I haven't washed my jersey, but that's it. That's it. I haven't washed my jersey.
I have to every now and then, but I try to keep it to a minimum. I haven't yet in this season, I don't think. So maybe I'll have to just get it nice and stinky if we keep winning. Swan Song says silk hat on a pig. Yeah, that's the
Oh, what
suit
up,
with puffed
Swan?
out suit with nowhere to go. Or I've said like whipped cream on SHI. You know what? Things like that. So just sounds like a gob.
Gobshite.
I don't know
There
that
we go.
one. Well, I know what a gob is, I think. Shut your weesht. These guys gotta get in these Scottish conversations. Side conversations that have nothing to do with football. But hey, have fun. We love you here, whatever you're talking about. What are your guys' thoughts on a lack of pass rush from the D line? I mean, Cards have a pretty good O line to start with.
We get pressures, but not consistent. We get sacks, but that's not even like it's minimal each game. I have a feeling that at I have a feeling people are just having to like use so many resources to really contain it. It's like Bosa's getting triple teamed at times. And it's not like you've got all these people hanging in there the whole time. You've got like 2 or 3 people who are jamming our ends and stuff like that on each play for at least a good half a second or two, which is slowing things down. So I f- I feel like the secondary needs to pick it up a little bit because it'll cause teams to have to give up on protection to kind of get more targets out there, I guess, to make our secondary have to sweat it a little bit more because right now they're kind of mass protection against us. Not all the time, but like a lot on third down. They are like keeping a running back in and then jamming with tight ends and whatnot. And they're doing a good job.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I just think we
Yeah,
need to make the right corrections.
I mean, I think part of it is they're just holding Bosa mercilessly. I think Bosa also is maybe not all the way back into game shape yet himself. I think we're missing Ebicom and Amenahu. I think they're better than Cleveland Farrell. I think um, and Drake Jackson maybe too. Drake had that 3 sacks in the first game and not a peep out of him since. I guess he maybe had
Well,
some blocked passes, but which is
he
great.
also had another sack, so I think he's at 4 or 5 sacks right now. Actually,
Is he really? Oh, he had one against the Cart. No, that was the only one against the
no,
Cart.
he
I'm
had
pretty sure he's at 3, man.
no. He's at definitely at 4 or more.
Okay, all right,
Um, I just I think he needs to be more inside on third down.
interesting.
And I think I'd almost take Eric Armstead out and I'd use Drake Jackson, Cleveland Farrell on the other side of Nick Bosa, and Javon Hardgrave on the one tech. And that's what I would do on third down, third and longs.
Yes, Swan Song average time to pass is a stat, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And teams are definitely. I also saw a stat today that we are the most thrown against defense and the least run against defense. So that they want to take on our secondary and not our front seven, which is not surprising. It's Bosa and Fred are in the front seven. Um, let's see here. So we were going to talk a little bit about. Well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, so many great things. Like I said, Purdy broke Steve Young's completions in a row record. CMC broke Jerry Rice's um, games with a touchdown. I think 13 or 14 games. We're on a 14 game win streak, and if we win 15, that would be a record for the 49ers. A lot of cool stuff going on for sure. I saw another stat too. I'll have to go look it up, but it was basically like 115 scrimmage yards and a TD in the first 4 games of the season. And in 50 years, it's been done 6 times. And I remember the first one was Jim Brown of the Browns in 1958. And I remember the second one was O.J. Simpson when he was on the Bills in 1975 or 76. And then, yeah, I think in
OJ
81,
did it.
it was, what's that? OJ did it in 75 or 76. And
Oh, I'm
then
just
the
saying
next one
OJ
was,
did it.
he, he did it once.
Well, he
And
actually did
then,
it twice. Nicole Brown's Simpson and Ronald Goldman.
oh, oh, oh. Um, so, all right. So then it was Billy Sims in 1981. It was Emmett Smith in 1995, and that was the year that the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl, 95 season, 96 Super Bowl. DeMarco Murray of the Cowboys. So the Cowboys actually have 2 running backs who have done this, 2014, and now Christian McCaffrey, 2023. So 6 times in 55 year period of time since 1950. Jeez, that's 50, 73 years. 6 times in 73 years. So pretty amazing stuff for CMC. He's definitely on track for MVP. I I saw. Well, should I get to the chats? Looks like we're falling behind here. But remind me to
Oh, I
or John Chapman sort of projected out what his stats would be for a 17 game season based on the first 4 games. And it was something like 1,900 rushing yards and like 400 or 500 passing yards and a whole gang of TDs. I think like 2 or 3 passing TDs and
Well, his 3 touchdown game isn't going to be a norm. He's
4. It was 4.
4.
Well,
Yeah, he's probably good for 2. I would say
I think he did.
you,
Yeah,
you could put Christian McCaffrey down for 2 touchdowns a game, and
yeah, I
that's
think that's fair.
probably yeah. And
No, but that wasn't
obviously,
just off that game. It was based off of the first
no, I
four
know.
games.
I
Yeah,
know, but that
but
game
even then,
that
yeah, yeah,
game in the
yeah.
total, it's gonna skew the numbers a little.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, because he hasn't had a really bad game to kind of even out the number from that game. You know what I'm saying? Like if he had an off game where he didn't score any touchdowns, and then that game he scores 4, then it averages 2. Everything's fine there, right? You know what I mean? Like it makes more sense there.
There you go. Alberto says, "Did you watch the game film breakdown? The D line is playing great, like a foot away from getting sacks every
Really, I
single
thought
time."
Drake had another
No.
another sack.
See, I told you it was just 3, man.
Who
Uh,
did?
Running is not an option. It was Hargrave that got the sack against the Cards.
Oh, I know that. I remember
Maybe
that.
Cleveland Farrell got one against the Giants. Well, Bosa got the one against the Giants that was basically like a safety and was called forward progress. Teams throwing fast against this D line still the best. I
Well,
think the Cowboys D line is better, honestly.
you have
Um,
to call that one forward progress.
yeah, yeah, I get it because he tapped both feet right before he fell back in. So
No,
yeah,
it's not even that. It's that I I can't move you back in the field farther than you've already gone.
right,
Because once I tackle you, your forward progress is where last you were, right? Before I created any sort of contact with you or started to move you. So therefore, where he was standing right there, he would have to have retreated back into the the end zone and then been tackled in the end zone.
there you go. Randy, and we got David McNiner in the house. McNuevo, welcome. Um,
Randy Daytona, we going to Sizzler. Yeah, boy.
so Randy said, right now we have the Ravens D and the St. Louis offense. I don't know about the Ravens D, man. We have a D that has a lot of potential, but we have some chinks in the armor on our defense. I think Isaiah Oliver is a weak spot. I think Ambry Thomas is a weak spot. And as Randy mentioned, may need to get a real defensive end. I think we're weak across from Bosa.
I so we might be weak right now in everywhere you just said,
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean by mid-season we won't be stronger than anybody else in those positions, essentially. And maybe not on defensive end, but we might be comparable enough. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that Cleveland Farrell and Drake Jackson are going to get better as the year goes on. And I think we're going to start seeing more pressure and more pressure, more sacks. But also, I think our DBs are going to step it up more. We've seen it from a lot of them, but mainly we can point to Diamador Lenore and how he was able to overcome bad play with good technique and playing in the scheme, playing his role within the scheme. And we've seen him turn around and become somebody they don't want to target because he's picking on them. He's picking back on them. You know what I mean? He's hitting them back by intercepting the ball. And he was not batting down passes too. So like it's just not good for your stats to look over that way. Might as well find something in the slot, homie.
there you go. There you go. So we got some Steve Supremo in the house saying unpause. Love it. They're saying Philly are overrated, in my opinion. I think so too. I think that their defense, I said this all along, they had all these supposedly great draft picks, but draft picks bust. And even the ones that don't bust sometimes take some time to mature. I think they'll probably be a lot tougher by the time we play them in week 13, but they've definitely been scuffling so far. That's why on my list of top teams, I put us number one and Bills number two, Cowboys three, Eagles four, because I think the Cowboys are better than the Eagles right now, even though they lost to the Cardinals. I get they lost, but you got to remember they lost to the Cardinals. They had 80% of their starting offensive line out, and Diggs had just gotten injured. You look at what they did to the two of their linemen came back and they scored 38 against the Patriots, and they handed Bill Belichick the worst
Yeah,
loss of his coaching career, 35-point loss.
yeah, but are out of all of Bill Belichick's teams with the Patriots, are we really surprised that this is the one that gave up that score for him? You know what I mean? That
Well,
are we
especially with
really
Mac
surprised?
Jones. I
No.
hate Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Nothing
no.
makes me happier
No.
than to see him struggle. Can't
So
stand that
so
guy.
that's it's really not saying much. They are who we thought they are. You know what I mean? They are the Cowboys. They are a tough team, but they can't be consistent enough to believe that they're actually talented enough to win the damn Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like they know that they got a lot of talent on that team, but it's never like they're consistently clicking throughout the season. It's like they do well and then they just slip and fall on their face. And then they do well and then they slip and fall on their face. And it might be 3 or 4 good games in a row. And then there's one bad one where they slip and fall on their face. And you can't think you're a champion when you know you're putting out shit product one every 3 or 4 games. How are you going to get through the playoffs? You can't. Unless somebody slips and falls on their face at the same time you are and does it worse than you.
Yeah,
Only
that's
way you're going to make it through.
I see that. I see that logic. Well, hopefully they slip and fall on their face this Sunday. Otherwise, I see it as like a really close game. I think this might be, I mean, clearly like the biggest game of our season so far and the Cowboys season so far. But like I'm saying this might be the biggest game of the whole season in the entire NFL.
No.
Um, like I said,
Thanksgiving
I've got us against them in
will
the
probably
NFC
be better of a
Championship.
game, I think.
What's that?
I have a feeling the Thanksgiving game is going to be better than this one.
Against the Seahawks.
Yes.
Seahawks looked good last night against the Giants. That's for sure.
I don't know. So they got a wild amount of sacks last night. They don't really have a good defensive line. So to me, I'm sitting here going, why the hell are they getting all these sacks? And we can't just, do the same to Danny Dimes. We couldn't do the same to Danny Dimes. Why is that? It made no sense to me.
Yeah, no, I mean they were just better prepared against us.
I
The
think it's
James,
the game
James says
plan
he
was
doesn't
different.
care about who's missing. Well, the reason why you care about who's missing against the Cards is because they're not missing against us, other than Diggs. Diggs will not be back. But I had a Cowboys content creator on yesterday who said that if Tyron Smith, their left tackle, plays, their all-pro left tackle, that this will be the first time this offensive line has ever played together, all five, because every time one gets healthy, the other gets injured. And they're already like a top 3 offensive line without ever all playing together. So if they all play together against us, it could be trouble. We're talking about having trouble getting pressure. It'll be a lot tougher against a top 3 offensive line. So that's why, and they'll have time. They'll have had time to adjust to Diggs being out and have figured out workarounds. Because when they played the Cards, they literally had one walkthrough from the Thursday when Diggs tore his ACL. They had a walkthrough on Friday, and they fly out to Arizona. There's no time to adjust to Diggs being out. I'm sorry, there just isn't. So people are like, oh, you like the Cowboys? No, I'm just being honest. I hate the Cowboys. I love the Niners, but I'm not going to like pump us up because I love them. I'm not going to tear the Cowboys down because I hate them. I respect the Cowboys because they have a really powerful roster, really powerful, really deep.
Yeah, but they always crumble in the
until they
biggest
don't.
moments.
Until they don't.
They
You
always
know,
crumble in the biggest moments. That's why I'm like,
Dak
that's why
usually does, but he's
that's
only
why I
thrown
usually
one pick this whole season, and that was against Arizona
so
when the
that
game was basically over at that point.
that means he's throwing 3 on Sunday. You know
All
what
right,
I'm
I'm
saying?
definitely taking the under there. I'm definitely. You say 2. Like in the divisional game, I could see 2. But no, if I'm predicting, I'm going to say 1. I say Dak throws 1, and I'm going to say Purdy throws 1 too.
So I have a feeling I kind of know how the game's gonna go. Okay.
Okay, fill us
We're,
in, Mr. Ryan,
yeah.
Mr.
So
Borders.
we're gonna both gonna come out and score, right? We're gonna keep on scoring, whether it's touchdowns or field goals. We'll keep on scoring, and they will fizzle. And then there'll be a time where we kind of slow off, and they start coming back a little bit. Okay. And then we kick on, and then they see they can't, the gap is getting increased and time is clicking down, and Dak will start trying to save the game. And at that point, that's when interception number 2 and interception number 3 come, when he's trying to save the game, be the hero himself, and make magic happen. And that's how I see it happening.
Love it, love it. So Alberto's stuck on the Cards game,
It might
Cowboys
only
game.
be 2,
He
but
said the defense wasn't hurt. Diggs was out. Their second best defender missed the game. He's out for the season. He was out for the Cards game. Their D was hurt. So when you lose your second best defender, that'd be like us losing Fred or Bosa, whoever you think is second best of those two. These are like elite level talents here in the NFL. And you say he doesn't stop the run. Well, guess what? When you stop the pass, it's harder to run. So the Cards passed for 180 yards in that game. That total's a lot lower. I bet their running total's lower along with it, or at least their run, yards per run is lower along with it. So, um, also, real quick, I want to scoop back up before we get too far buried. Silly Fungi had a good comment. He said, if CMC stays healthy, keeps playing like he doesn't win MVP, they may have to change the name to MVQB to avoid
yeah,
due to the backlash.
y- y-
Absolutely.
you definitely got a great point there, sir. You
That's
definitely
awesome.
have a great point there,
Yeah.
because yeah, if he continues this way, it would just be obscene not to give him the award.
There you go.
It
Rick says haters are annoying. There you go. Well, people call me a hater. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, I don't. I don't hate Purdy. I like him a lot. I hate the hyperbole. I hate the people saying that he's better than Mahomes or better than Josh Allen, Montana, Brady, all that stuff. But like, I really like him a lot. So I hope you're not talking
Hey,
about me when you say haters.
I got a question for you. Over under or Christian McCaffrey throws 1.5 touchdowns this year. Throws 1.5 touchdowns. Over under.
I mean, I'll say under because I think it would be 1 if he does it. I think it'd be 1.
It could be 2 though.
It
Isn't
could
that
be. It
it
could be.
could be 2
Well,
though.
especially because he did 1 and half a season for us,
Yep.
and so we got more games. But we already done 4 games. The season's almost a
Hey,
quarter over. It's crazy already.
that's a play. That's a play we could see this week against the Cowboys.
Hmm. Yeah, we could. Or Debo could throw,
Because it's one of those
or
types of
Jennings or Juice. Like we have so many guys who can throw the ball as weapons. It's crazy. I mean, it's literally everyone but Ayuk.
I'm
Chiefs
sure
Jackson.
I'm sure Brandon Ayuk could if he needed to.
He probably could. He probably could. But it's
He's
not the kind of thing you just do in a game unless
no.
especially not a big game like the Cowboys.
I got like
I think it is going
15
to be a
minutes.
very good game. I think it's
I
going to
got
be. I predicted 24-21 Niners.
I got like 15 minutes till I got to get out.
Okay, you got to end
Yep.
at 4:30. Okay, no worries.
Yes, please.
That's fine. Uh, team's game plan to get the ball fast. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It was all in the It was an all Cowboys podcast last night. Excuses. Oh, you mean me? I had Cowboys Greg on.
Woo.
I learned a lot. I mean, he was telling me basically they have a new defensive tackle they didn't have last year. This guy, I think it's Leonard Hankerson, something Hankerson. He's a big space eater, like a big Vince Wilfork kind of guy. You know, a two gapper they call him. They got Mozzie, who they drafted out of Michigan, who's a big run stuffer. Everybody gave him grief because he can't pass rush. Like, we didn't draft him to pass rush, folks. And then they have this guy. I get his name wrong every time. Ogaboygi, Ogun Ogunzabi.
Ooga booga.
He goes by Osa. His nickname is Osa to make it easy on idiots like me who can't remember his name. But he's a good pass rushing defensive tackle. And then they have great edges. They have Micah Parsons, who's basically arguably on the same tier as Bosa. They got DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been a premier edge for many years. And they got this young guy, Sam Williams, who had 8.5 sacks last season. That's why I say I think they have the best defensive line in football, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we do. Maybe it's the Eagles. There's a few in the consideration. When the Bills get Von Miller back, they might be in that conversation. I don't know. We'll see. Rick Diaz in the house. I've been showing his tweets, or his chats, but I haven't called him out. Welcome, Rick. James says, "Don't respect the Cowboys. F those guys. Love it." No, I mean, I can hate a team and still respect them and say that they're an opponent that I don't want to say fear, but that I am concerned with. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think it's going to be hard fought. I think we may be losing some. I think we will eventually win, but we've barely even been losing this whole season, or have we even? I don't think we've been behind yet this season. So, Steve-O says two. I'm not sure what that means, Steve-O. If you could fill us
My
in.
confidence in us winning the game isn't necessarily because of us.
Oh, I think you meant. I think that must have been the
it's
CMC TDs. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
So I don't really. What was I saying? Cut me off.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
It was about the game. What you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Lost it.
Sorry about that. My apologies. Randy says thinks we go down a field goal first, go down 3-7. We score a field goal first. Yeah, we've had a lot of field goals. That's something we need to cut down on. We need to convert more of our drives into TDs. We have the least drives in the NFL, 29%, that end in a punt or a turnover. The 49ers do. I can read the list. It's in my profile, or in my timeline.
Oh, no, now I remember. It's not because of the 49ers that I think we're going to win this game. It's because of the Cowboys.
There you go.
And how they always fail at like these big moments. And even like when they should go and beat up on teams, not even talking about Arizona, okay? But like I can't remember what games it was like last year, but they're having like these, it's coming down to the last minutes with these teams. And it's like, why are they even around? Why haven't you put them to bed yet? You know what I mean? Like, so they just always let it slip in the last couple of minutes. It's like they're not built to go 4 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and like I said, they haven't really played anybody good yet this season. In fact, if you look at the records of the teams the Cowboys have played, it's worse than the records of the teams we've played. So I just am going off last year and what the Cowboys looked like last year and what they've added. They've added a lot of stuff. They added Stephon Gilmore. They added Brandon Cooks. They've added these defensive tackles that I mentioned. And I just feel like they look better to me, other than Diggs. Diggs is a huge loss. They just paid him a $97 million contract. He's definitely one of the best corners in the NFL. That's a huge loss. But other than that, I think they look better in a lot of different ways. It says Diggs gives up a ton of yards and TDs. He's a ball hawk, yeah. So he gets a lot of turnovers and then he gets burned some too. Although I think that changed a little bit last year. I think last year he lowered his turnovers and also didn't give up a lot of big plays last year. If I'm
But
not
he
mistaken.
also, if I remember correctly, he wasn't getting as many interceptions because he came out and got a shit ton that first year, but gave up so many
A
yards.
thousand yards receiving. Yeah, exactly. And a
Yeah,
lot of TDs. Yeah. No,
yeah.
no. So yeah, they both went down. The turnovers went down, and so did the burning.
So
He played a
I
little
don't,
more conservatively. I think didn't take
I
so
don't,
many chances.
I don't regard him as one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Okay.
But I know that other
Do you
people do.
regard him as better than the next man up for the Cowboys?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I would say that he's better than, let's say, I'd say he's definitely, like top 15, top 10, but not like top 5. I think he gives up way too much, and I don't think he's as honed in. But that could change, and that's also my personal opinion. But and I know lots of people think that he's like the second best or the best cornerback in the league, and I can't tell them why they're wrong. I just know that in my stomach, when I watch his play, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it could be better.
There you go. I agree with this, McNuevo. We need Womack back, Thomas and Oliver getting burned. There's a few good chats in here that we should talk about. Rainy Totona said he wishes Diggs was playing because of those yards
Yep.
given up.
Well,
McNiner
I
says
just
he's
want
sick
your
of
full
hearing
squad. I
about
want your
how
full
good
squad.
Parsons is going to be. And this is a thing I talked about a lot this offseason with Micah, which was, a lot of people wanted to say that he's as good as Bosa, TJ Watt, and Miles Garrett. And I said, not until he plays dedicated edge, because he doesn't play the run well enough to be a dedicated edge. And that's what happened against the Cards. They tried to play him at dedicated edge and they ran straight at him. And so hopefully he plays the edge and we can run right at him. Not like where he's off the ball and then can pursue whoever the ball carrier is from behind, because he's got that crazy closing speed.
He's an athlete.
He's incredible as an
Bosa's a
athlete.
tactician. A tech.
And Bosa's got more power.
Well, yes, but what is that from? Him knowing that he needs to be stronger than anybody else because he's not longer, he's not lengthier than other people. He's got to figure out,
Pause.
he's got to work with what he's got, right? And
We
with
all
what
do.
he's got to make sure he's good with his brain,
Yeah.
his hands, his feet, and he's got to be strong with them all. So
There
to
you go.
me, I think that Bosa is way better
No
because he
doubt.
can actually do what he needs to at the position. Parsons is an athlete. He could play at different spots all over the field. You could probably look, if you wanted to be nasty, you could probably line him up as safety
There you go.
and bring him in the box. That's some nasty shit. You know what I mean? Let him get a couple steps on somebody. That's nasty.
No doubt.
But when it comes down to it, like you were saying, if they're trying to make him run block, there's some things where he's not ready for, and he needs to be back at Mike linebacker. You know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
we're, yeah. So to me, I think he's a great weapon, but I think you're using him in a way where he can be exploited, and that's not what you want.
No, I'm with you 100%. Real quick, just want to do a quick commercial break. I have a new sponsor, TTG, the Travelstead Group. They're retail and hospitality logistics. So they handle the details, transportation, warehousing, brick and mortar, fixed furniture and equipment. That's FFE, operating supplies and equipment. That's OSE, those types of programs. New store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions, from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let us know how we can help via air, ocean, and land. So their link to their website is in the description of the show and all my properties. It's in the Twitter bio and the YouTube about page, also Insta and Facebook too, if you follow me there. So just click on it, check out the video. It's obviously not consumer products, it's B2B. But if you're in the retail or hospitality space, you need to get things done, they can facilitate that for your company. So thanks in advance, everybody. Appreciate your help. Got Jess from East Coast Red and Gold. We got
Oh, what
Mav
up,
in the house.
Jess?
What's up? we're running short on time here, Jess. We only just got a few minutes left. I think Ryan said he has to leave at 4:30 sharp.
I
So,
gotta call my sister.
the family. Or if you
Yeah.
want to call her and I can keep it running for a minute and see if you can make it back. Is it going to be a long call?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
There's some health issues or something, so
Oh
I've
gosh,
got a
yeah. Don't. Yeah, I don't want to feel like you're rushing to
I
come
got a
back.
heavy phone call.
Yeah, I understand. Well, family first, real life first. That's always the most. I just threw it out there because sometimes you never know if it's a quickie. Then
Oh no.
I could probably hold it down for a few minutes by myself. Or in fact, maybe I will keep it going for a little bit and what you call it, and just interact with the audience. If people want to stick around and you got questions, because I feel like we haven't really gone through everything. But Ryan, before you go, what's your score prediction for the game?
Ooh, I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna have like a 14-point lead going into like the last 8 minutes, and then they're going to cut the lead down within like one score. So I think I want to say that the 49ers by 7 points.
And do you think we score 30 against them like we've been doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's stopping anytime soon. I think
Okay.
that's just I think that's just how the offense goes down the field. I think we get one good drive a quarter, and if you add that up, that gets to 28 points. You know what I mean? So, and then somewhere we kick a field goal, that's 30 points. So, yeah, that's how it goes. It's how we run the clock down. We take 10 minutes out of every quarter for ourselves, and that's how we do it.
There you go. And I'll keep it streaming on your channel so you can get the views of everyone who's on there. Stay on if you're on Ryan's channel. Stay on there and make sure that he gets the watch hours, folks.
Yeah, no
Um,
weird shit.
oh, you,
No exposing.
so what are you saying? Like, do as I say, not as I do?
No, no, it's on your channel too.
I know. I'm
So
just
you can
messing
go
with
be.
you. I'm just messing with you, Ryan. It's all good. Well, tell your sister we said hello.
Yeah, you guys have a good one.
Anything you got going
Thanks
on that you want to
everybody for the
promote?
in the chat.
Anything?
Tonight I've got Bring the Heat podcast with Bashar and Mariah 49er Faithfully. So check us out 6 o'clock. I don't know whose channel we're on. I think it's Mariah's, but it might be Bashar's. It's not on mine though, just so you know. All
There
right.
you go.
I'm out.
Thanks, Ryan. Great to see you, buddy.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Peace. And then for everybody else, I'll stick around. Let's see here. I guess I can just keep this background, or let me just fix it and do. Actually, no. It's still no BS Ted. Well, yeah, I'll just do this and do the single overlay. There we go. So, where were we? There were some good comments that I wanted to get to here. Let's see here. Sick of seeing out Parsons. James Arnall said back shoulder throw to BA, CMC TD, Kittle deep, TD, it's coming. I definitely think Kittle is going to have a breakout game. I feel like he has, really hasn't done much this whole season. He was open some. I was watching JT O'Sullivan's breakdown from the Cards game, and he was open at least a couple or three times in that game where JT O'Sullivan thought that Purdy should have hit him. So love to see that happen, especially, Purdy and Kittle had such a great connection at the end of 2022. There were 7 TDs thrown to Kittle in the last 6 games. Actually, I think it was actually just the last 4 games. There were 7 TDs. So I'd like to see us get maybe not to that quite pace, but, some more TDs, some more involvement for Kittle. Bryant says CMC is the real deal. He is CMC MVP. If I get a chance, I'll pull up the tweet from John Chapman that had all the stats. If you actually, let me just do that because I think it's in one. I think it's in chat that I'm in, and it shouldn't be that hard to find. Right? Yeah. Okay. So if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy and on this pace, he would have 1,951 rushing yards and 25 rushing TDs and receiving 599 yards. So I was downplaying it. So he's basically like, we're looking at 2,550 yards total and 29 TDs for CMC at this pace. Now, obviously, as Ryan mentioned, this last game with so many yards and 4 TDs will skew that even in a 4-game sample size. But it's pretty incredible to think that if he could stay healthy, that that's even possible. So McNiner was saying we need Womack back. Thomas and Oliver are getting burned. Yeah, I've been saying, I said that today. I had Ashley Baker on. She's a big Cowboys fan from Sports After Dark. And, she was asking me how the Cowboys could attack the 49ers. I said Isaiah Oliver, Ambry Thomas, McKivitz, although I think he's doing a little bit better. But, what TJ Watt did to him scares me because I think Micah Parsons is close to TJ Watt as an edge player. And then also Burford. Those were the areas where I saw a lot of, and maybe strong linebacker. I think we're still missing Aziz Al-Shire. I don't think any of our linebackers are as good as Aziz was. Oh boy, I'm not doing the crib stuff anymore. CMC is the dog's bollocks. MVP CMC. That's right, he is. I thought bollocks was a bad thing, but I guess it depends on where you are. Because I feel like when people get mad, they go, "Oh, bollocks." And I thought that anyway. Tell us about that, James. Explain the differences there. Every time we're going to play the Cowgirls, they're annoying. Yeah. Oh, he means the haters. Okay. And he said I didn't mean you, the others. Okay, good. Glad to know, Rick. I wasn't accusing you too, by the way. Brian says, great show. Yeah, we could have ended, but I thought I'd keep it going. This way I can be a little more interactive with the chat too. I said I got some over here in Chicago. They're annoying haters. Sorry to hear that, man. But you've made it when you have haters, right? Whether it's a football team, whether it's a content creator, whatever it is, it's like if you're nobody, then nobody cares enough to hate you. So it's only once you start to have a little success that the haters start to come out. And so it is a sign of success. And for me, I know part of it is my grumpy, super petty nature on Twitter, makes people want to, gang up on me or get me when I'm wrong because I do it to other people. And that's all fair. I mean, I don't mind, but I don't like when people say that, like, that I don't know football because I'm not ready to crown Brock Purdy yet, because there are a lot of other people that aren't ready to crown him just yet. He's been doing great. Like I said, I just want to see more consistency and more versus better opponents. Dallas is inconsistent. There you go. Well, we'll see. I have a feeling that they're going to be pretty keyed up for this game. I think we will be too. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Like I said, I think it might be the best game of the season in the regular season. We'll see. Maybe us and the Eagles will be. Maybe it's one that you would never foresee, but I just think it has all the makings of being a real slobber knocker, as they say sometimes. So Randy says, Jess, you down with TTG? I mean, I don't expect people to be down with my sponsors, as far as that goes and whatnot. But if you do, like I said, retailer or hospitality logistics, give them a shout. Check them out. Check out Nick and Henry. They're great guys. Tom Ted sent you. And, I'm sure they'll hook you up with a TTB discount at TTG. So they're just saying, hello, RIP, a quick to Brian. Okay, so yeah, I lost Ryan. James is saying 24-14. I'm assuming you mean Niners. Randy stole my score, 24-21, San Francisco. Yeah, that's what I had Greg, Cowboy Greg on yesterday, and he said 24-21 Dallas. And I said, all right, I'll just flip it and just say 24-21 San Francisco. I think it will be really close. Bryant, much more optimistic than anyone so far, 42-24 Niners. Man, nothing would make me happier. Like that kind of score, and if Brock did really well, then I think I'd be at least ready to crown him for the regular season. That would go a really long way with me. So we'll see what happens. Randy's got the bug eyes though. I know. That's kind of my reaction. I thought it was a little bit much. Oh yeah, I mean, actually, if somebody does want to hop on, I don't think Ryan would probably mind. Just let me know and I'll shoot you a link. Let's see, I'll work backward just to make sure I don't. Oh no, okay, I'm almost caught up. If you know, you know. Exactly, exactly. Purdy, Ayuk, and CMC are better than last season. Purdy is better. He was better against the Cards. I wasn't really feeling it the first 3 games, but that Cards game was, yeah, that's the best I've seen of Purdy, I would say. And then Ayuk, yeah, Ayuk is, I saw him in camp. I was at all 9 open camp practices, and Ayuk was the best player in camp. And guess who was second best? Javon Kinlaw. And guess who's balling out this season? I said he would be our best defensive line rotational player if he could stay healthy. And not only that, he's outplayed that. He has played his way into the starting line, not the starting 4 per se, but they're doing 5-man bear fronts to get him into the lineup. So it's Bosa, Armstead, Hargrave, the two Javon and Javon, and then obviously either Drake Jackson or Clelin Ferrell on the other end of Bosa. So yeah, I agree that CMC is playing better than he played last season. He's had a full off season. He really came in early into OTAs before camp. He was like running hard and like just he is just like all the greatest players like Jerry Rice and all of them. They all do the same stuff. There's like no half-ass. There's no partial credit. It's like they're just going or they're not. And CMC is exactly like that. So yeah, I would say all those guys are better than last season for sure. It's just I think we're missing Brunskill at right guard. I liked having him platooning with Burford. And I'm not convinced that McKivitz is better than McGlinchey, even in pass blocking, and let alone maybe a little better in pass blocking, but certainly he's nowhere near McGlinchey in the run blocking. And that could be big. Again, as we face tougher defenses, we may need to be able to grind the ball better. So we'll see. James says, if I wanted any week for Ted to be a homer, it would be this week. I want to eat those bag of cabbage lickers alive. Oh, I do. I want to. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm predicting a narrow victory, but I am predicting a victory. I think if we can stay healthy, we should beat the Cowboys. But I wouldn't be surprised if we fall behind, like I said, and if it's really close and if it's like a nail biter, that would not surprise me. I think a lot of people are underselling the Cowboys. But hopefully I'm wrong. Y'all are right. Hopefully it's 42 to whatever Bryant said, and 24 or whatever it was, or 14. That'd be awesome. And nothing would make me happier. And then, we could focus in on some of these other games. I think, Seahawks look like a little bit of a challenge. Cleveland Browns defense looks good. We'll see if Deshaun's back next week for us, or if he's even back this week. I haven't been really following them that closely to know. But yeah, I mean, so we got Cowboys, we got Browns, we got Vikings, Bengals. Bengals might be ship shape again by the time we play them. That they could be. That was the 3 I circled at the beginning of the season were the Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Eagles as sure contenders. Ravens, I thought we might drop just because they're always good defense, and Lamar is tough to defend. And that's where our -20 rest days and their +9 rest days will really come into play, where they'll probably have close to 29 more rest days than us by that point in the season in just like 3 months. It's a huge advantage for the Ravens from that perspective, but a long time till then. We'll see. But as far as for the Cowboys go, I mean, like I said, they also picked up Deuce Vaughn, who's supposedly this hot young running back. They have some new tight ends as well too that are supposedly good at blocking and catching. So it's going to be an interesting game. And if they have all 5 offensive linemen, I would say we'll probably struggle to put pressure on Dak without blitzing. And then you blitz, you're opening yourself up to the hot routes, just like the Giants did when they blitzed us. I don't think Dak is as good as Purdy, but I think they're kind of both in that 8 to 12 range, to be honest. Panama Queen here saying Ted and Ryan. Yeah, Ryan had to go, and I just kept the show going. Just thought I would be a little more interactive with everybody here to answer any questions. So as far as the Niners since last year, I mean, we talked about a little bit. We lost Jimmy Ward. That's a big loss. Isaiah Oliver is not Jimmy Ward. Isaiah Oliver is cheaper than Jimmy Ward, but I don't even think he's as good a value as Jimmy Ward. I don't think the 2 or 3 million we're paying Isaiah Oliver is worth as much as paying Jimmy Ward 6 or 7 million. He's just so much better in coverage. Jimmy Ward is. And I think we're missing those edges. I think we're missing Amenahu and Ebukam and Jordan Willis. I like Ryan said, it may change by the end of the season, but as of right now, that's part of the reason why I think we're not getting as much pressure as we could. Another edge would be really helpful, but we'll see what happens. Why is Mitch out? I only saw. I didn't see that Mitch is out. That's not good for sure. Oh, and he said, I only saw Mason on 2 snaps. Yeah, he had a nice catch on a route that normally is a CMC type route. So, yeah, we didn't see a lot of Mason. Mitch, he means Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell was out. He had a knee injury. And so he was questionable to play last week, and then he was ruled out before the game. So, yeah, hopefully Mitchell will be back for the Cowboys. That would be helpful for sure. We'll see. It says Ted, the dog's bollocks. It is if it's a good thing. It's the way James said it. He said CMC is. So I don't know if I'm in CMC territory, but I definitely, I like to grind and keep things going. As far as other things that are going on the timeline, that's probably a good thing to just look through here and just talk about. I know there was that chart I was talking about by Warren Sharp, and it was about the percentage of drives ending in a punt or turnover. So you want a low percentage, meaning that you either score or you score TD or you score a field goal, essentially, on all the ones above this. So the Niners were the lowest percentage, so the best at 29%. Interestingly enough, the Seattle Seahawks were at 31%, so only 2% higher of drives ending in a punt or turnover. The Bills, 33%, were third. Cowboys, 36%, were fourth. Dolphins, 38%, were fifth. So since the Dolphins have scored way more TDs than anybody else, it's telling you that they're not scoring many field goals, essentially. Right? They're the fifth. They have the fifth least amount of drives ending in a punt or turnover, but somehow they're scoring way more TDs than us. Where we're 6% lower than them. So we're scoring a ton more field goals. That'll make Brent Culp happy. Jake Moody getting work. So where were we? Dolphins were 38 at fifth. Eagles 40th at sixth. Rams 42nd at seventh. Cards 46th at eighth. So that's kind of interesting to me. The Arizona Cards defense doesn't have a lot of drives ending in a punt. Well, I think we kind of saw that in our game. They moved the ball pretty well for much of the game against us, and they did score some TDs, obviously. Interesting that the Chiefs are like 10th in this. And, I guess it's not that surprising because Patrick Mahomes only has Travis Kelce as an elite weapon. McNiner brought up a good point that Isaiah Pacheco is an elite weapon. He's definitely an elite running back. I don't know that he catches the ball anything like CMC or the great receiving running backs, but then they do have Jet McKinnon, the one that got away from us that never worked out for us due to injury. He's a real good receiving back. So I guess I'm not being totally honest if I say only Kelce, but when you think about wide receivers and tight ends, it's only Kelce. And I don't know that Pacheco is that great of a receiver, and I don't know that Jet is that great of a runner to where they're like a dual threat weapon, like no one's like CMC, but you know what I mean. So we had the Chiefs were 10th, the Texans are 11th at 47%, the Chargers 12th at 48%, the Bucks 13th at 50%. And it's just kind of interesting that a lot of these, teams that don't end drives in punts or turnovers are some of the top teams in the NFL. There are some exceptions, like what you call it? I mean, I don't think the Bucks are that good. In those, I think the Ravens are pretty good and they're pretty far down the list. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. That was something that's been going around that I tweeted about today. Brandon Ayuk has the highest graded wide receiver in the first 4 weeks, 93.6 per PFF, which is pretty crazy because he was injured for at least half of the Rams game and then missed the Giants game. And I know the rating isn't based on, total yardage or anything. It's how he looked when he was in. That's pretty cool that BA is getting his flowers. And then he was also this week one of the highest rated offensive players. Oh, that was a good one to talk about. There was a list of PFF highly rated offensive players, and there were 4 49ers on there. Here we go. So the highest graded offensive players for week 4, Tyler Smith of the Cowboys, who's one of those O linemen who's back, 93.7 grade. BA, Brandon Ayuk, 93.4. Nico Collins is the receiver for the Texans, 93.3. Josh Allen, 91.1. Christian McCaffrey, 91.0. Dalton Schultz, the old Cowboys tight end who's now a Texan, 90.6. Trent Williams, 90.1. Dak Prescott, 90.0. So everybody's saying that Dak's no good. Keep that in mind. He was the 8th highest offensive graded player by PFF in week 4. Derrick Henry, 89.8, and Stephon Diggs, 89.8, tied. I guess Derrick Henry and Diggs were tied. But it's interesting there, another one of these correlations where, there's 3 49ers on that list. There's 2 Bills on that list. There's 2 Cowboys on that list. And those are my top 3 teams, as I mentioned earlier, when I'm ranking the best teams in the NFL. Those are my 1, 2, 3. So the Texans with 2, all right, they're definitely not one of my top teams. But CJ Stroud is killing it. He's on another list. I guess let's bring up that list too, as long as we're talking about it. There's a list of the top 10 quarterbacks by yardage. So number 1 is Tua, 1306 yards in 4 games. Stafford, 1229. This is amazing to me in that, you tell me he's second in the league with Cooper Kupp. I'm like, wow, that's pretty incredible. You tell me it's with Puka Nacua. I mean, my God, that's really unbelievable. They asked, like, what's most surprising? I mentioned that was my most surprising thing. Kirk Cousins, 12-14, but we all know that's kind of garbagey. But here you go. CJ Stroud, number 4 in passing yards in the NFL as a rookie, 12-12. That's awesome. Justin Herbert, 11-06 at 5. Josh Allen, 10-48 at 6. Jared Goff, 10-29 at 7. And just 10 yards shy of Jared Goff at number 8, Brock Purdy, 1,019 yards. And then he's 5 ahead of Russell Wilson, 1,014. And some people have compared their games. And then another surprising one, kind of, I guess not so much with this other list, but Pat Mahomes, 1,006. So Purdy has more passing yards than Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. So I said that, Mahomes might surprise me if it wasn't just Kelsey as his only weapon, and then CJ Stroud as a rookie being 4th. I was bullish on CJ Stroud. I thought he was the best quarterback of this class, but I admitted that hey, I didn't think he was going to be that good to be 4th in yards, and he may not keep up with that. So we'll see. Let me catch up here a little bit with the chats and make sure I'm not ignoring anything. Got the definition of dog's bollock a little farther up the chat. Okay. All right. Says dog's bollock is a good thing. Dog licks and shines them and always keeps them on display. Interesting. Good to know. Unless he's fixed, right? Travis Swift, sick of seeing her face already. It's only been 2 games. Yeah, it was definitely a media circus Sunday night, and it's interesting to see what's going on with his jersey sales going from like 19th to 5th, and he's gained like about 900,000 Instagram followers. It almost makes you think it might not be real. It might just be done for marketing, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, everything in the NFL is real and is exactly as it seems to be, right, folks? Yeah. Anyway, just keep in mind when we do all this stuff, folks, the NFL is listed as an entertainment company and not a sports company. So that's another good thing to keep in mind. Randy Tona says Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Phallus are contenders. Not sure what Phallus is. But I got Chiefs, Bills, Eagles. I don't know what the Chiefs are. I listed them as 7th, my 7th best team in the NFL. So I don't know if that actually counts as a contender anymore. We'll see. I think they may pick up a weapon before the trade deadline, and that could easily vault them back in. But I don't think they can get it done with just Kelsey again, because last year they had Juju and they had Hardman, and now I don't think they have anybody that's even that good to help out Kelsey. Don't don't think the Bills are pretenders. That team is awesome, no doubt, James. When I watched that Bills Dolphins game, I tweeted out after. I said I think that they're the best. They look like the best team in the NFL. They smoked the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins have a way better offense than the Cards, and I think their defense is at least as good. You know, they put up 48 on them with no problem. There was like 10 minutes left in the fourth. I was saying, you know, the Bills, Josh Allen could have maybe run up 60 plus against the Dolphins if the Dolphins had actually challenged them to score more. So they looked incredible. Now, the only reason why I didn't put the Bills number one in my power rankings this week is because Tre'Davious White tore his ACL, and he is one of the best corners in the league, and that's going to hurt. They do get Von Miller back in practice this week, and that could help to add more pressure, but I don't think it'll make as big a difference positively as the negative of Tre'Davious White going down. But yeah, I think it's us, the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. I don't think the Chiefs are in there, at least not now. Not when you watch them scuffle against the Jets. Come on, with no Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. But I guess the Jets did beat the Bills. But it was a weird game. Josh Allen had a lot of interceptions, which he is prone to do from time to time. Kyle is playing on Madden on easy right now. Yeah, well, it has been easy. We've had some easy opponents. I mean, they say there's no easy game in the NFL. I get it, but like I said earlier, like we have not played a contender yet. Absolutely not, and we may not have played a playoff team yet. You could say the Steelers are 2-2 and the Rams are 2-2. They either one could make the playoffs, but I don't. I honestly don't think either one will. I didn't pick either of them to, and I haven't seen anything that made me reverse that yet. So we'll see. I've heard this for years, James. If we could say the same about the 49ers, blue balling the fan base for years. Yes, 29 years and counting. Absolutely. We got out of the first round of the playoffs. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we have 7 NFC championships and 2 Super Bowl appearances since the last time the Cowboys had made the NFC championship game. So that's a big difference. People call us the Cowboys because we haven't won a ring, since '95, and they haven't won one since '96. But we've obviously made a lot of noise in the playoffs since then, and they haven't even sniffed an NFC championship game. So that's the big difference, folks, between us and them. What else? So we're going to make a move before the trade deadline. Burford needs replacing. I don't know about that, but yeah, Burford is a weak spot. I miss Daniel Brunskill. I wish we had ponied up to keep Daniel Brunskill. I thought that was good with them platooning. Normally, I'm against platooning offensive linemen, but it worked last year, and so I think they both played better for it. Digital creator in the house, welcome. Thanks for joining. And he's on Ryan's channel. I saw Feliciano in there. Oh, really? Feliciano played, huh? Oh, so we're platooning Feliciano and Burford. Interesting. I didn't know that. Got Bashar in the house. What up, Bashar? Yeah, Ryan had to bounce at 4:30, and I was going to end, and I was like, I got the time. I'll just flip up my single pane here and keep it rolling for a little bit longer. Yeah, you'll see him later on Bringing the Heat with you and Mariah. He called it out. I guess I should do that too, or I'm starting to run out of time myself here. As far as me going on, let's see here. I have tomorrow the usual First and Ted with me and Aaron from 49ers First Takes at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. And I got one more Cowboys content creator. It'll be my third of the week. I had Greg yesterday, Ashley Baker today, and I got Cole's Cowboys coming on tomorrow. My wife made a special arrangement for me to be on at 5:15 p.m. Pacific, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday, I don't think I have anything planned for Thursday. Not right now. Thursday's open. If there's any creators out there that want to collab on Thursday during West Coast business hours, let me know. And obviously, Bash and I will be together on Fridays, balling with Bash and Ted. I think it's back to his channel this week, but I'll have to hash that out between now and then. But either way, I mean, it'll be on both channels anyway, but he may be hosting. I think he does a better job of hosting than me. He definitely keeps up with the chat better than I do. Randy says, I understand why you feel that way about the Bills, but I hear you 100%. We hear it every year, but what you don't hear every year is that James Cook was, at least after week 3, CMC was the leader in rushing yards, and James Cook was number 2. And earlier in the season, when the Bills lost to the Jets, I made the excuse for Josh Allen, only one elite weapon, that's Diggs. And I said, and no run game. A lot of times Josh Allen has more yards than their running backs do. And it seems like that might be changing. And their D is looking really stout. Keep in mind, even with the Dolphins game, like they did have Trey White, he got injured, but Jordan Poyer was out too, and he's a really, really good safety. So Poyer's coming back. I don't think it's a serious injury. So anyway, yeah, I get it. But just when you watch that game against the Dolphins, I don't know. I was super impressed. And excuse me. And I wasn't super surprised to see the Dolphins maybe have a little letdown after scoring 70 against the Broncos. But still, I thought that it was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then the Dolphins stopped scoring, and the Bills just kept on scoring. It really impressed me, and the Bills' defense impressed me because that Dolphins offense, they got speed. They had like 4 of the 5 fastest guys in the NFL, and it's not just like track speed, folks. I'm talking like fastest on the field, like guys, like, football, not track stars trying to play football. Football players with legit track speed, and there is a difference. I'm not talking about Marquise Goodwin. We're talking about Tyreek Hill, Mostert, Waddle, and I guess maybe A-Chain. Is he? I think he's pretty fast too. Bring Tom Compton back. No, Randy, no. I do not want Tom Compton back. I'm pretty happy with McKivitz. I just feel like part of his bounce that we've seen, with the Rams and the Giants and the Cards is just, the Rams, all they have is Aaron Donald. And the Giants, all they have is Lawrence, their defensive tackle. I want to say DeMarcus Lawrence, but that's the one from the Cowboys. It's Dexter Lawrence. I knew it was a D name. And the Cards, they don't have a D lineman. Like let's face it, they do not have one premier D lineman on the Cards. So yes, McKivitz looked better. And I said this after week 1, a lot of people were down on McKivitz, and I said, like, hey, he was going up against TJ Watt. TJ Watt is, maybe the best edge player in the NFL. If it's not Bosa, it's TJ Watt. And not only that, but it's his first ever start at right tackle. So as he gets more experience, that should help. But he also had only had literally 2 practices against Bosa for iron to sharpen iron. So now they've been practicing all this time. That should really help McKivitz too. So I think even if Micah is as good as TJ Watt, which I don't think he is, then I think McKivitz still probably did improve from week 1 to now, given that more experience with Bosa and less TJ Watt. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But I do think that the Cowboys D-line is better than the Steelers D-line, especially when Cam Hayward got injured in the first quarter against us. He's a stud. One of the best D tackles in the league for sure. All right. So I am at 5 o'clock here. Just want to, it's on Mariah's channel. Good. Okay. Yeah, I do need to get rolling though, because it's time for daddy duties for me. But I just want to thank everybody for stopping by. Everybody check out TTG. Like I said, the link is in the description for the show. It's in my Twitter bio, my YouTube About page, retail and hospitality logistics. Check out Henry and Nick. Great guys. And they will make things happen for you seamlessly. Also, all the support's here. So if something goes wrong, you're not going to be calling and wondering where the heck the person is that's answering the phone is from. They're from right here in the U.S. who understand what you're going through because they do it themselves. Anyway, thanks everybody. I'll just say peace and go Niners.